Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, welcome. My name is Christine. So I am a little bit sick, so excuse the stuffed up voice. I kind of wanted to do a more casual, chatty get ready with me. I've had a lot of people ask me about how to get through breakups, and I've just got a ton of questions, so I just wanted to address some of those questions. So before we go ahead and get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and the little notification bell, and let's go ahead and get started. So I just washed my face and toned it, but I haven't put my skincare yet, so I'm gonna start with my favorite Clinique All About Eyes eye cream. And then for moisturizer, I'm gonna go in with this new Farmacy moisturizer that I got. It's the Farmacy Honey Drop Lightweight Moisturizer. This packaging is so amazing. It comes with a little metal like spoon thing, and it is magnetic. There's a magnet in here, so it allows the thing to stick to it. So A+ on packaging. I just grabbed a little bit and I'm just gonna dot that all over my face. And I really like this moisturizer because it's really lightweight, but it's also very moisturizing. I actually got this package from Garde, and it's a new company that just started, and they sent me this Damage Control Lash and Brow Fortifier. It's a peptide serum that helps sustain lash and brow thickness, root strength, and density. Click out, and then some of the product is dispensed. Just run it along your lash line in the morning and at night, and it helps promote the growth of your lashes and your brows. Zoreya Cosmetics sent me their whole brush set, and I think it's so pretty, but these brushes feel so soft and I'm really excited to use it. I haven't used their brushes before. Like, it comes with a little kabuki brush and it is freaking so soft. And I'm gonna do my brows really quick and I will be right back. And then Zoreya also sent me this like 3-piece brush set, but I think I'm gonna save this for when I do my face, and it's cool because it has like 3 brushes in one. So I think this is super useful if like you want to go traveling and stuff like that. I'm using the Maybelline City Mini Palette. I'm gonna use the Zoreya blending brush in 807, and I'm just gonna pick up this taupey color right here. And so some people were asking me about how to get over a breakup. Before I met my last boyfriend, when my high school boyfriend and I broke up, we had dated, it was like 3 years on and off, and I don't think it was a very healthy relationship. Like, I just didn't have a lot of experience, and I found myself like really dependent on him, and I lost a lot of my girlfriends. And so I feel like that could be a red flag. Because a healthy relationship, you want to not feel the need to constantly be with your partner. My high school man, him and I we spent way too much time together, and when we finally broke up, I just didn't have a lot of good friends, and I just felt so lonely because him and I hung out so much. After we broke up, it just felt like there was a void in me and I didn't have anyone to go to, and so I think I was like 18 at the time, and so I started going out a ton and I rebounded. And I like met other guys and was talking to other guys and stuff like that. And to be able to grow from a breakup, I don't think that you should do a rebound. I don't think it's the answer at all. I think that it's easy. I'm gonna go pick up this color. I think it's easy. Start talking with another person and fill that void with like another person really quickly. But I think for personal growth to happen, you have to spend it alone by yourself. Spend time doing things that you love and you enjoy to do, and that allows you to better yourself and be better so that when the next relationship rolls around, you are ready for it. Another thing about rebounding too is you're not really ready. So if you do meet a person that could be a good fit for you, you may not be emotionally ready or too dependent on them, and the relationship just starts off like on the wrong foot because you're too dependent on them, and that stems from you not having like self-confidence and self-love that you need to have for yourself before you can move into something like that. I met Brandon from going out a lot. We started out as friends, but I eventually started liking him and we started getting a little bit more serious, and then we eventually started dating. And him and I have been together now for about 3.5 years, and last year we actually broke up, and we kind of had to sit down and talk about it, and I was living in his place, and it was just like a tiny studio, and we had tons of fights all the time. It was just like such a confined area that him and I didn't have our own space and stuff like that, and so we just had fights over every little thing, about dishwasher, about the toilet seat not being down, you know, little stuff like that. And eventually we had to sit down and talk about it, and he pretty much brought it up, and I didn't see it because I feel like maybe Brandon and I got into it too quick, coming from my last breakup. I don't know, I had just always been with someone and there was never like a long gap between my last ex and Brandon, and so I feel like as a person I still was a little bit incomplete and I needed some work to do, and I guess I never saw that. So Brandon and I sat down last year, and I think that was around the 2.5 mark in our relationship, and he just said that he wanted to work on himself, and he just felt like as a couple that we were too dependent on each other. I didn't see it at the time, but he always wanted to be like hanging out with his buddies and stuff like that, and I just never understood why he didn't want to be with me all the time, because hello. We eventually broke up. At that time I was really close with his family, with his parents, his sister. He was close to my family, and he had spent the night with us. We had gone on vacations. We had just come back from Disney World, and there was just a lot of integration already, and it was just so hard because I didn't see what he was coming from when he said that he felt we needed to work on ourselves and he wanted to work on himself. It was hard for me to see where he was coming from because I didn't see it. And after we had our talk, I cried myself to sleep, and I didn't get any sleep at all that night, and I didn't eat for the next days. I didn't even want to leave the house, and after about a week of just like feeling bad for myself, woke up, I got dressed, I ate food, and I printed out my resume and went and got a new job, and that was a retail job, which if you ever worked retail, that shit keeps you busy. After you get home from work, you just want to crash and go to sleep. And at the time I was going to UW and finishing my degree, and I was also working at a cafe barista, and I was also front desk, and then that job that I picked up at retail was my weekend job. So I just got myself super busy. I didn't have time to feel sorry for myself. I didn't have time to be sad and upset and lonely and stuff like that. I moved into a new place, and I met a new group of friends, and they like a group of guys that I had moved into. And the nice thing about guys is they know what's going on, and they don't really ask because they know you don't want to talk about it, which is nice, but they'll listen if you do want to talk about it. So I think it helped me to have like a really good group of guy friends like that, and they really helped me get through it, and we spent a lot of time together. I just think when you're going through a breakup, you have to find time to make yourself busy just for a while until you are able to really sit down and think about those issues that you're having. And maybe now that you've distanced yourself from that situation, you can look back and see the errors in the relationship, and you can see maybe what the other person was seeing that you weren't able to before. And when I did go back and look at those issues, I did see that I was too dependent on him, and I wanted so much out of the relationship, and he wasn't able to do things that he wanted. And you know, it just allowed me to see those types of things. I didn't think Brandon and I were gonna get back together, but I still had my mind open to that possibility that if we were to run into each other later down in the road and I had bettered myself and he felt at peace with who he was, that we could get back together. But I wasn't hoping and living every day hoping that he would come back, and I wasn't focusing on what he was doing, and it made me feel better to not keep track of him. I just think if you are going through a breakup and you want to be able to move on, you can't be friends with that person, at least not right away. When we first broke up, I had to really distance myself, and I had to unfollow him and unfriend him on Snapchat and stuff like that. And it wasn't because I was bitter against him. It just didn't make me feel good to see that he was like out doing fun things, for example. If I was staying in feeling really bad about myself, and I wanted him to be able to do whatever he wanted to do and just not keeping tabs on him all the time, because that's just not a healthy way to move on. And then I didn't go out that much. That first weekend I did go out, and I texted him, and that's not something you want to do. So if you think that after going through a breakup you need to go crazy and go out and go to all these parties, at the end of the day when you come back home and you're sobering up and stuff like that, that's all you can think about. Even initially after we had broken up, we had met up for some closure, and I just kind of took a step back and tried to see what from his perspective, and instead of trying to be mad, kind of just sat down and had like a civil conversation. And he said to me that he still loved me no matter what. It still gets me emotional, and we're back together. And I still loved him very much. Like, there was nothing wrong with who I was as a person. I think I was lucky because we had a good civil talk about it, and he wanted to break up for good reasons. It wasn't like we had a big fight or he was cheating or I was cheating. It was just because he realized that as a couple we had things that we needed to work on, and So it helps just to like not think about yourself at that point in time and see from the other person's perspective. And I think personally it helped me to have that kind of closure, and that way you leave with still a high level of respect for them. I didn't have any bitterness, I didn't hate him or dislike him or anything like that. And the crying afterwards was just like missing that person, thinking about all the possibilities, like if you're still together, like obviously you can't help but think about stuff like that. After a couple days I decided like, he's not crying over me, he's out there working on himself, why am I crying over it? So you just have to get up and decide that you want to be a better person for you, for no one else. I wasn't doing it hoping that he was going to come back into my life. I just wanted to do it for me so that in future relationships I was a better person, I was more independent, I had that inner peace. Started going to the gym every single day. I started setting goals for myself, what I wanted my body to look like. I hung out with people that I hadn't seen in a long time. I reached out to girls that I used to be friends with that I hadn't seen in a while. And so you just have to go out and do things that you've never done before. I started dressing better and watching a lot of videos on how to do my makeup, and I started reading a lot of self-empowerment quotes. And if that stuff doesn't really like hype you up and get you to start believing in yourself, maybe you can start reading a book or listening to podcasts. I actually got a DM from this girl that I used to work with, and she said, kind of the same place where I was coming from, where I didn't think it was beneficial to take a break. After like some time and feeling bad for myself, I finally was able to see from his perspective, like it totally is okay to go through a break and decide that for the sake of both of you that you need to work on yourself. And that's what Brandon and I did. And even though it took me a little bit of time to see that, and I think it's easy to fall into like a comfort zone where you just get too comfortable with a partner and every day is kind of the same thing, all the fights are always the same. It's easy to fall into a routine, and that's just not something that you want out of a relationship. Side note, this color is so pretty. This is Colourpop Nillionaire. And what happened with Brandon and I is we ran into each other. We hadn't seen or talked to each other in weeks, like I said, and we ran into each other, and he kind of looked at me and was like, you look really good. And I had just gotten eyelash extensions. I'd been working out all the time. I looked really put together. He suggested that we could get lunch. And I think after that point, that was just like a big turning point for me, because like to see that look in his face and the way that he looked at me, like it was almost like he was proud of me and how far I've come. And I'm using this Hourglass primer. Like regardless of your breakup situation or why you guys broke up, the whole point is I had this mindset that I wanted to look better and be better, so that if we ran into each other down the road, I wanted him to look at me and still find me attractive. And it wasn't just for like trying to get him back or trying to win him back into my life. That was not the intention. I just wanted to look good and feel good for myself. And like I said, it's very empowering to have someone that you used to have a history with, after some time be able to come back and see you still in that light where you're attractive to them. I'm gonna go in with the Water Beauty Flash Focus Hydrating Foundation Stick. If you're on the other side of this, I think breaking up could be a good thing, especially if you feel like you're stuck and if you're having fights and they're never really going anywhere. A break could be a great thing, and sometimes the other person doesn't see from your point of view, but if you are doing all the right things and you're not being disrespectful in any way or saying these things or spreading rumors and stuff like that, your significant other sees that you're out there like going to the gym and working on yourself, and you're not going out and you're not rebounding with other guys. It could be a good place for both of you guys to grow. And like Brandon and I, we ended up getting lunch and just kind of hitting it off again, and it was kind of nice because it was almost like a fresh start, where it was almost like he was one of my guy friends and we were flirting with each other again, and he would start sending me texts like, hope you're having a great day. And it wasn't even like we were texting regularly, it was just every once in a while he would text me and ask me out to get lunch or dinner, and I would meet up with him. You can always be friends with your exes if you do it the right way, and I think the way that him and I went about it is we started going on lunch dates, and then he started asking me out to dinner, and then it eventually started becoming dates again, and it was almost like we started seeing each other again. But it was like that whole time in between, I wasn't focused on like if Brandon was gonna hit me up, if we were gonna go out and get dinner. I wasn't focused on going on dates with other guys. I just wasn't really interested, but if it happened, then it happened. It wasn't something that I was going out of my way to look for or do, and I think that's very important when going through a breakup, that you aren't searching for someone else, because in essence that is like the same thing as going through a rebound, and it's not beneficial for you, for your growth. Eventually Brandon and I, it was almost like we started flirting again. We started getting into that like fresh stage of like dating again. You just have to have the mindset that maybe it was a blessing in disguise. It's an opportunity for you to work on yourself and them to work on themselves, and eventually if you guys come together and it's able to work out, then great, that's awesome. But you can't also live every day like that person is always going to come back or they're going to want you back, because that's not always the case, and you have to be okay with that. I had a friend of mine go through a really rough breakup, and there's not always that case where you're able to have like a civil conversation. I do agree that all breakups do suck, but it is a little bit easier to move on from a breakup where you can both have that conversation and it's like a mutual agreement. But say it's a very one-sided, and say you found out that your significant other was cheating on you. Like, there is so many different scenarios, but in the end you have to realize that it starts with you. When you start working on yourself and realizing that this is an opportunity for you to work on yourself and you get to see the true colors of the other person, it could be a blessing in disguise. It's just the fact that you are able to grow as a person and work on your positive mindset and self-love and inner peace. And it is cliche, but things do happen for a reason, and it may be your chance to go work on yourself and start going to the gym all the time. And for me, it was starting to watch a lot of YouTube videos and doing makeup in my room, and I just started doing things like that, and it started like fueling my passion for what I had for beauty, and eventually it got me to start my YouTube page, and it's something now that I enjoy doing so much. And now Brandon and I as a couple are so strong because he can go hang out with his buddies for a week and be on vacation, and I can be at work doing my own thing. And I work a full-time job in addition to doing YouTube, and I also have a side business where I watch dogs, and we're both so busy, but at the end of the day we are able to catch up with each other and see how we're doing. And then maybe even if we don't see each other, it's okay. We're okay with that, because our relationship is now so strong, and that's just how relationships should be. And I still have time to hang out with my girlfriends, and I've found a good group of girls that I can trust with anything, and we work out together. I think there's so many good things that can come out of a break, and if it's your first breakup, it may be hard for you to see that. If you have that mindset that good things come out of situations like that, and the situation is not who you are, is you're not a bad person, you're not less than or broken or undesirable because they don't want to be with you. If you just think of it as like the timing's not right and this could be the opportunity for you to become better and stuff like that, I think it definitely... Why is it so bright outside? And then next I'm gonna go in with my Airspun powder and just set my under eyes. And I've been so sick recently that I haven't put any makeup on my face for the last like couple of days, so now I guess I just want to cake it on. So I'm gonna go in with my Zoreya 3-in-1 brush and my Fit Me powder by Maybelline and just set the rest of my face. And I'm mainly patting it in just so that I can set my face first. Especially since I had a stick foundation down, that's a little bit of a thicker foundation, so I just want to make sure I pat it so I don't disturb the foundation too much. And then going in with my Physicians Formula Bronze Booster, I'm going to use this brush in my Zoreya brush set. It's the blush brush, but I'm going to use it for contour. I actually reached out to a lot of people that I may not be close friends with, maybe people that I had met on Instagram, and started hanging out with them more. And it really helped me to have a good group of friends like that. And even initially when Brandon and I broke up, I didn't tell a lot of people just because I didn't really want to talk about it, and it's okay to be like that. So I like this brush. It is really soft, but it's a little bit thinner. I wish it was like a thicker, bigger brush, but it is only meant for blush, so I'm not mad at it. And then I'm going to brush it down my nose. I always do this. And then closer to the edges of my face, I'm actually going to use a darker bronzer. And this is the NYX matte bronzer in the color Deep. And I'm going to use that same brush and just pick up a little bit and put it on my temples. And I recently have been doing this because it really helps slim down my face. And then for blush, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Color Icon. This is in the color Apricot in the middle. And you know what? Let's just do a fiber brush. This blush is so pretty because it's like a really good like bronzy peach color. If you're not a big blush person, I would definitely try this out. I'm going to go in with highlighter, and I'm going to use actually this ABH Glow Kit. And I don't like this one as much as the four piece sets. I think this one is a little bit too chunky. I'll use this fan brush in the Zoreya brush set. It's the fan brush 805 brush. And like, I don't know if you can tell. I don't know how you can't tell. There's a lot of kickback, and yeah, it's really messy and it kind of gets everywhere, but like it just isn't as finely milled as some of my highlights are, so it doesn't look as smooth on the skin, but it is pretty blinding, which I do like. And then I'm going to pick up this tiny little flat brush. It's the concealer brush, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit of white sand and highlight my inner corner. And then I'm just going to go in with this powder brush and brush out any of that fallout because there is a lot of sparkle like all over my face. And I'm going to go in with this Lash Garde oil-free liquid eyeliner. It's so pretty. I love the packaging. And it is like a felt tip eyeliner, so I'm actually going to curl my lashes and put on mascara first. And I'm going to go in with the Lash Garde oil-free mascara. And all of this stuff is lash extension safe, which I love. It is oil-free and also gluten-free, and I think this stuff would be great if you have eyelash extensions because like you're not supposed to wear makeup when you have eyelash extensions, and they also have like a lash and brow shampoo that's oil-free, that's safe for eyelash extensions. So I think that would be a huge lifesaver. I'm just gonna put some of this mascara over my lashes. It does feel a little bit drier than my other mascaras, but that's probably the oil-free part. It does a job in thickening out my lashes, so I do like this mascara a lot. And next up, I'm gonna put on some of this eyeliner. And I just took off some of the goop on my lips, and I'm just gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury lip cheat in the color Pillow Talk. So I like this lip liner, but it is like pretty pink, so I like to balance it out with a like nude. So I just put on that NYX lipstick. This is the color Tan Lines, the lip butter. This is like one of my favorite nudes of all time. And I'm just gonna do my hair real quick and look a little bit more presentable, and I will be right back. So that is the end of this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and before we go, I wanted to say a quick thank you to Zoreya Cosmetics for sending me their beautiful brushes, and also to Beauty Guard. I love these products, and I love that everything is gluten-free and oil-free, so check them out if you haven't already. And I know it's kind of chatty and talkative, so I will leave all the items I use down in the description box. If you guys enjoy videos like this, chatty, get ready with me's, and I don't know, talking about any kind of topics. If you like these videos, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments what you would like to see next. And as always, thank you so much for watching my videos, for supporting me. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.